in jail billionaire news, submitted by Powell to the people. Billionaire Jeffrey Epstein, is that how you say his last name?
I don't know.
Epstein, I don't know. I'm hearing both.
I've heard both.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was denied bail after being jailed for a pending trial on sex trafficking charges. What is he a billionaire for?
Why is he a billionaire?
Yeah.
He made money.
So here's
a lot of people don't really know.
So he was just a math teacher or something. I forgot, but he was a teacher, right? And then he decided to start working in Wall Street. And then he was working in like finance and all that stuff. But there's a huge mystery on where his money's coming from. They just know that he's rich.
Oh
and
my
he
God.
he also donates a lot of money to different foundations and stuff like that. But then no one really questioned his money.
Is he a pimp? Isn't that?
He's like Tommy Wiseau.
That's what the speculation. I think that he is a pimp for high class billionaires, politicians,
Probably,
things
man.
like that. Yeah.
So he was arrested on July 6th after landing in New Jersey and charged with sex trafficking dozens of girls from 2002 to 2005, right?
Oh God.
Overage.
Underage.
Underage?
No, and this isn't the first time.
Yes. Yeah. So back, this is 2008. There were similar allegations against him, but he was able to plead guilty to just 2 state charges. He spent 13 months in jail on work release, so he was able to basically go back and forth.
What?
From prison to his job and prison to his
And he
job.
sexually assaulted 2 minors.
so
And his job is as a billionaire, bro.
Prison was like a hotel then.
Oh yeah.
So he wasn't really in trouble, and it's only 13
Wait,
months.
he assaulted 2 minors.
Okay,
where?
so this is what happened. So I think they caught him with like 36 or whatever, but 2 of the charges actually stuck.
Oh my
one of
God.
So a bunch of the girls were gonna pull out their testimony at the last minute.
Yeah.
Like intimidation and stuff?
Money,
Probably
whatever,
a lot
yeah.
of shit, right? So there's 2 arguments for this one, right? So the team back then who was working in Florida, the U.S. Attorney's team there, one of them, his name is Alex Acosta, and he was just labor secretary, but he just resigned from the Trump administration because there's a lot of heat coming down about him being lenient on Epstein during
the judge.
this. He was one of the members of the team, one of the legal team.
Oh shit.
Who was giving Epstein like a pass, but he argues, well, all this testimony was about to not be backed up by the girls. We were having witnesses pull out, so we weren't going to be able to get them for much at all. So that's why we did that. A lot of people say that sounds like a bullshit excuse.
He was a client.
It could be. Who knows, right?
He had a lot of powerful clients. Well, it all started when a 14-year-old girl told her parents that she got sexually assaulted by Epstein, and then they went and they decided to look into this, and then it surfaced another 16-year-old girl talking about it as well.
How does he have access to like minors?
So he would host parties, and he would meet, invite everybody, and they would have families over and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
And he would try
Starts
to
working on him.
So
Work
he
on
R.
him.
Kelly'd them?
Yep. Basically, yeah. And then he would get other girls to get other girls, and then he started to bait. The conspiracy behind it is he would get these girls and prostitute them as well.
Oh.
Because one of the things that he got charged for was intent to sex traffic.
Yes. And so, and one of the places that he was doing this at, that he was trying to groom these chicks at, was Mar-a-Lago, which is in Florida, which is Trump's hotel. That hasn't been connected to any kind of crime or anything. That's just true.
Well, he has a private island, and they're calling that the...
Epstein has a private island.
Oh my fucking
And they were flying these girls into the island, and
This is where it would happen.
that's where some of it would happen. We don't know that all of it
know.
happened in these different places.
Right.
There's been no proceeding yet that establishes like a timeline or any of that shit.
Yeah.
We just know that from 2002 to 2005 is when he's being charged, because there are 2 victims here who say that Epstein did all this to them.
And so so they were flying these kids out to the island, and then the billionaires would come, do whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah.
And then what happens to the people, like the little girls? Do they like send them back to their home after, or do they?
That's
just
what
stay on
happened
the
in this
island?
case. is that these girls were
just-
sent
yeah.
back.
And what for the parents? Are they just like
Hush money,
got
all kinds of
paid.
different things.
How much money would you take for them to be like, we're gonna take Isaac?
Never.
How much? There is no fucking
Well, you also
amount.
gotta remember that they have a lot of powerful people because all the clients that they have are like presidents and
one of-
royalty and like.
So now I've talked about the
yeah.
Trump connection, right? Now there's a Bill Clinton connection here too, which is that he came out, like as soon as this happened, he came out and released a statement saying, I did go on trips with Jeffrey Epstein only a couple times. He said, I think he said 3 times, but there's actually been
multiple-
some fact checking about that, and he took apparently many more flights than he's on the manifest for these
my
flights.
God.
For many more flights, including flights to the island that we're talking
Oh
about.
my God.
And this was already a conspiracy
Yes.
before this surfaced.
But Bill Clinton says, well, I went with Secret Service agents who obviously would witness me and be chill.
Yeah,
But
they're
there
not gonna
are-
say
But there
anything.
are times where he was on the manifest and the Secret Service agents were not.
Oh.
But he has not been accused of any crime at all.
The plane is owned by Epstein. It's his private plane.
Fuck, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
At least in this case, he was accused of rape by Juanita Broderick. That's also part of what people are calling like, there's a pattern here maybe. But Trump was also accused of rape, but in I think 2 years ago or something like that. But that case was also investigated, and a lot of the journalists who were looking into it felt that the witness was not credible.
There was that quote from Trump too that he was like basically ousting this dude, and he's
That
like,
he likes young girls, kind of like me.
no, he says he likes young girls. He's like really like into girls, but then he goes at the end he goes, he likes them a little young though.
Oh yeah, like that.
Yeah. But it definitely sounds creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Rapist
It's
thing?
weird. It's weird. It doesn't mean anything, right? None of that means anything. Like Bill Clinton being there doesn't mean anything necessarily.
We don't know for sure, but it's just weird.
No one's been
all
charged
these
with anything.
connections are weird.
Just a lot of weird
Yeah.
coincidences.
Because, I mean, he's even had one of the royal members of England, I think it was a prince or someone, that was riding in his planes. I mean, this guy is rich and powerful, so he's going to have photos with almost everyone and anyone. So we just don't know who's really involved.
What does it
and
look
who's
like?
So a reporter for the Miami Herald recently said that they feel like a lot of very powerful people are sweating right now
Damn.
because he's behind bars. And now there's been a major development that happened.
Yeah, he's not as ugly as I thought.
Okay, so there's been a major development in the story. Last night, apparently, he was found having tried to commit suicide.
Oh my
He
God.
did it. He fucking did it.
And he was found with marks around his neck, and he was found on the ground of a cell. And now some people are saying, well, he's connected to powerful people.
He's in jail
They're
right
gonna
now.
kill him anyway.
How do we know they didn't try to kill him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, why wouldn't they finish the job if it
So
was?
he doesn't out them?
Well, maybe it was a failed attempt. Who knows? Like it was like maybe there was a noise. Maybe somebody came. Maybe
Right. So
something
that he
happened.
doesn't out him. So he doesn't whistle.
So he doesn't out them. Like he doesn't say he was there, he was there, he was there.
Totally speculation, conspiracy. Nobody knows anything. I'm
Allegedly.
just saying that that's what
Kind of
some
like
people are
what
saying.
happened to Anthony Bourdain.
What happened to Bourdain?
I don't know. They were saying the Clintons were involved somehow.
Wait, quick
They didn't
question.
like the way that he cooked.
No, I forgot what the connection was. I just remember they were blaming it on the Clintons.
Quick question. Have they ever tried to like tie all the missing children who never like came up to this island? Like maybe they're there as sex slaves?
I'm sure whatever's going on, they're not telling us about it. That's for sure.
And-
I don't know about that.
There've never been police officers in that island?
Maybe they're still currently investigating, so they're not releasing any of this into the public just yet.
That is so fucking scary.
This
How much
reminds
money
me
you can
of
have.
a post I read from a girl that was, she basically said I was sex trafficked at a high level politics thing. And then so the way that this goes down and the way he throws his parties, it sounds like him. Because she was like, yeah, I was in Washington, D.C., and I was going to these parties. And then I got recruited, and then they were like, how would you like to spend a weekend with this guy? And then they were very upfront. There was a madame there and all that. And she was like, fuck it, it's worth just trying, and I'll get all this money. And she was just actually kind of down for it. Never been a prostitute, never been in the seedy world, just a clean-cut girl, right? And then she says when she went out, it was like a British politician or something. And then she was like escorted in a room that was like super backdoory, and then like
It didn't look like the rest of the...
well, it was like a mansion, and then she basically was in a room, and a guy came in, and they did it, and she said it was super fast and weird and stale, and then she just went home and they paid her all this money.
And one of the victims says that she signed an affidavit saying that she saw Bill Clinton on the island.
Yeah.
Which is pretty.
But I mean, is it a surprise though? Like Bill Clinton is a notorious womanizer.
It doesn't even make me blink, but
because it's not a surprise. Like I'm just not like it's not Mr. Rogers. It's Bill Clinton.
Right.
Not that this is okay. I'm like, duh. I'd expect Bill Clinton at a brothel.
Yeah.
You know.
But with underage girls, that's like. Yeesh.
That is next level though.
Yeah, that gets pretty nuts.
Because it's not secretaries. It's now like hella illegal.
Yeah. And the plane, it's called the Lolita Express, is what Epstein called the plane, which is obviously about the
How
novel
fucking
Lolita.
in your face can you be?
Damn.
That's like the fucking Rape Express.
Yeah.
Lolita Express.
That's the one with the younger girl getting with the older guy, right?
Yeah.
That. Yeah.
And flight manifests also show that apparently years ago Trump was on the plane, but not necessarily to the island, just that he had shared a plane with Epstein at some point.
Well, Trump's
I wonder
claim.
what Hillary's thinking.
She's like, fuck again, motherfucker.
Dude, she's probably like, dude, fucking stop. Like, stop being a fucking disgusting ass pig. Like,
Fuck. Well, that was in the past, but
I mean, you think that was the only time?
no, for sure
She's probably
not.
not even thinking about that in terms of the
Emotional.
marital side.
Yeah,
She's probably
she's
just thinking
like-
like you're ruining our name, our legacy.
Business.
Yeah.
Stop embarrassing
She's
me.
a Cersei.
I can.
Yeah.
So she's gonna fucking chop his head
They
off.
probably haven't had sex in years.
They probably never had sex.
They probably only
Well, I
made
had
the
sex
daughter.
the one time.
No, it was fucking they got his sperm and they just fucking with the turkey baster put
Turkey
it in here.
basted it.
This is how they have sex.
There's a conspiracy that Chelsea Clinton is Webster Hubbell's kid.
Oh, you see, they didn't
He
have
was a
sex.
Clinton friend, Hillary Clinton's friend, and he helped them during this thing called Whitewater. There's a whole fucking bunch of shit about it. That's conspiracy shit, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Damn, this is crazy, dude.
I'd rather hear about the black matter in the fucking universe
You
and
know
try
what I
to
mean?
figure that shit out.
It's less dark.
Yes.
And
Yeah, dark matter isn't as dark
Awesome.
as the Clintons.
Why is this whole situation as what the fuck is going on with rich people? And
Rich, powerful
It's just
people.
crazy how
sex
much money
trafficking.
you can have that you're like, nothing in the world faces me. I need to fuck children so that I feel
it's not
fulfillment.
even just rich. It's just like people in powerful positions. They tend to do shit like this. Like, what the fuck?
It's so widespread that during the Super Bowl, that is considered the sex trafficking like apex, the zenith, because they move all these chicks into town, and like all these rich guys like to
they're all coming
fuck
into town.
prostitutes.
Damn.
And a portion of the prostitutes are obviously trafficking victims. Like when we were staying at a hotel, me, Joe, Casey, Bart, doing a writer's retreat, they had a little card at the front desk during this time. It was just before the Super Bowl, and it was about it was like, hey, if you were being trafficked, this is what you can do right now to let us know and tell hotel staff.
And this was like in El Segundo, like just fucking LA.
LAX.
Yeah. It was
because
crazy.
I think they were doing that nationwide because there's been a crackdown on this kind of shit. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Scary.
And it was like one white guy with 3 young-looking Asian boys. So they're like, "Do you guys need help?" And me, Joe, and Casey were like, "No."
We're like, nah,
That's
it's
so
cool.
funny.
oh,
I was like, I'm being trafficked.
Yeah.